Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Chaos Wolf here, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today, we are taking a look at the coveted Prismatic shield generators. Now, this is not going to be as in-depth of a look at these shields as I could possibly do, but I'm going to be looking at them well enough that you will get an idea of what they are. I am here teamed with Commander Dark Widow, and what we're going to be doing is testing out my Prismatic shields, because we've both got these shields. We're going to be testing out his, and we're going to be testing out mine. And let's have a quick look in the outfitting department, and we can see which Prismatic shields I have. As you can see, I have the largest Prismatic shields I can get on this ship. So I have the A7 Prismatic shields. Basically, to buy these, it would cost you 67.933 million. These are not cheap. And not only that, but they are very expensive when it comes to power draw. Because if we look here in the modules tab, we can see the Prismatic shield generator, and it is costing us currently 24% of our current power usage. So that is a fair amount of power draw. It's even more than our thrusters. And not only that, but if we go back into the outfitting, and let's go back to internal, buy and equip, let's go and have a look at compare. Here we go. Comparing the A7 Prismatics to the A7 Standard. Mass-wise, the A7 Prismatic generators are twice the weight of the actual standard shield generators. They got the same integrity and the same health, apparently, but we also have a 50% increase in power draw. Now, the optimal hull mass and the maximum hull mass is exactly the same. But with a 50% extra power draw, I would be hoping to have at most 50% better shields, or at least I'd say about 30% extra shields. But we're not quite sure as yet, because they don't have any other stats on that as yet. So what we're going to go do is we're going to go jump outside with Commander Dark Widow, and we're going to go and have a look and test these to see what the differences are in shield strength. So we'll see you in a moment. Okay, so first of all, we are really curious as to whether or not the Prismatic shields actually have a different graphical animation, because that's kind of the main thing for a lot of people is do they look different? It's not whether they actually act different, it's whether they look different. So let's find out. We've got Commander Dark Widow here.
Hello.
And what we're going to do is we're going to go and check whether or not the Prismatics actually look visually different. Because he's got Prismatics loaded on his Anaconda, and as have I. But the problem is, what we've noticed is that we can't actually see it, the animations for the shields on our own ships yet. It may be a bug, we're not sure yet. But first of all, let's go and fire at Dark Widow and actually see what this looks like. I'm only going to be firing 2 of my turreted burst lasers at him, so it's not going to damage him too much. So here we go. And as you can see, first of all, you can actually see that instead of actually being a blue background, it's actually green. Now, I think this is a bit of a weird choice for the Prismatic shields. What you may have noticed as well is that the actual ripple effect that actually comes off from the point of impact is actually all more blurry and wavy than what it was with the normal shields. At least that's what I think it is. So
I will say one thing from my angle.
Mm-hmm.
I just see blue little dots where your things are hitting. I see nothing.
Yeah, that's what I saw earlier on, is that it's more like a bluey black kind of gradient sphere kind of thing, and that's it. But yeah, that's enough. And now you can see the green after effect. So it does have a different visual effect. So you will be able to tell visually whether somebody has got prismatic shields or not. But
true.
Yeah, what we also want to check is how much better a prismatic shield is than normal shielding. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put my weapons away. We're going to have a look over in my modules, and you can see here that I've got a A7 prismatic shield generator. I have got no shield boosters at all. And what we're going to have is we're going to have Commander Dark Widow pretty much just wail on us with the full force of all his weapons. And he's going to go through one capacity. He's going to go through. They did it on their own. Yeah. He's going to go through one full capacitor charge, and we're going to see how much of the shields it actually goes through. And it's taken a fair while to get through. There you go, that's one capacitor charge. And he's basically gotten through 1.5 at most shields, levels of shields.
Yeah, wasn't that bad.
And for those of you actually watching from Commander Dark Widow's side, I'm actually going to hit one of my shield cell banks. So you can actually see what it looks like when a shield cell goes off.
I will say, the green does make it look different, and that looks so cool when you do the shield cell.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt this. But yeah, what I'm going to do now is I am actually going to go and find myself some A7 normal shields. And we're going to basically just rinse and repeat this little test to see how much of the shields Dark Widow actually takes off with a full charge of his capacitor. So we're just going to see basically how much extra damage that the shields block. So I'll see you in a bit.
Yes, we will see you in a bit.
Okay guys, and we are back again, but this time I have actually swapped out my A7 prismatic shields for the normal A7 shields. I've also picked up one shield booster, but as you can see here, it's not actually activated. So it's not actually going to be working, so we're just going to test, first of all, what the power of these shields is normally without a shield booster, and then we're going to do it with one shield booster. So, whenever you're ready, Commander, take it away.
Weapons deploying.
Under attack.
So we're going to go through one full weapon capacitor charge as well. There we go, you've pretty much gone through both of my rings of shields. There's only a tiny little bit left in the...
That's a surprise. That's a surprising result.
There's not that much of a difference. It seems like perhaps it was... It's around about... It's between 50 and 20% better shields with the prismatics, I think. So let me just boost back up my shields.
Blue now.
Yeah, and I'm going to put my shield booster on as well. So I'm going to need more than one shield cell.
You're like, I'm going to put that on. And my shields are... Oh, never mind. That's the problem with shield boosters. They add so much to your shields.
Yeah, I'm going to put one last one just to make sure that they are fully topped up. There we go. So that's the shields fully topped up again. So now this is A7 standard shields with one A0 shield booster. So we're going to try it again with one more charge of Commander Dark Widow's capacitor. So,
and this time I actually have you targeted. I didn't. I was like, why am I? Oh, right. Here they come.
Yeah, this does at the moment seem like around about the same result as we got from the prismatic shields by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it would suggest that prismatic shields are 20% better than the standard shields of that class and rating. So an A7 prismatic will be 20% better than an A7 standard shield, it seems.
Yeah, didn't we actually kind of predict that, though?
Yes, we kind of did. So it seems to me like the worth of these shields is somewhat kind of arguable. There is, like I said, they are 20% better than their equivalent counterpart of normal shields.
Correct.
But they are twice the weight, 50% extra power draw, for only 20% benefit. So what I am thinking is that these are really only going to be good for combat vessels that have extra power generation, so you're not having problems with power draw. So you're never going to get prismatic shields on a Vulture. That's just a big no-no.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
But what else I do find is that it's going to be adding a lot more weight, so you're going to be losing a lot more jump range. Not only that, but what I think is that for an Anaconda, it's just going to be better to have an A7 standard shield generator with a A0 shield booster. Because what will happen then is you'll have less weight, less power draw, so you're going to have more power for your weapons, a better jump range. So I really can't see as that all that worth it, really. Maybe if I was in a Cobra, like a pirate Cobra, maybe. I mean, yes, I'd be losing jump range, but if I'm doing nothing but conflict zones and I am in system, then yes, they would be a no-brainer. But if I'm jumping around doing bounty hunting, doing piracy, just generally wandering around, I think that they may not be as worth it. But at the end of the day, this is my point of view. I also do think that the art choice that they went for Frontier with how they wanted the prismatic shields to look is a little bit underwhelming in my eyes.
I agree with you on that one.
I do think that the green, it's interesting being able to see it, that it is a different shield just by shooting it at the ship, whether they're using prisms or not. But I do think that the green wasn't the best choice they could have made artistically. I mean, there are prismatic shields in other games which are pretty much just, it doesn't matter what colour the shields are, but what they are is they have little hexagons interlocking throughout the entire shield. They have them in Halo, they have them in a lot of other games similar to this, and I was kind of expecting to see something like that. I thought that would have looked absolutely amazing, but what we've got at the moment is a little underwhelming. But let's bear in mind that this is pretty much the first couple of days of them actually being available. So they've not really had that much testing. They didn't have much testing on the test server, on the beta server either. So I do think that these are going to be very much subject to change.
I agree with you on that wholeheartedly there. I think with all the feedback that everyone will be giving them, that I think they'll change the color back to a blue, and they'll probably do the probably a different pattern on it.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, what kind of rating, shield rating, do you think? Like, because at the moment it seems like it's only 20% better than normal shields. What do you think would be a decent kind of improvement to actually make them worth it?
Well, I agree with the power draw to an extent. It's a little on the extreme side, and same with the weight.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they're supposed to be better shields. What it seems like they've done is they've just taken the shield gen and just combined it with a shield booster already pre-built into it. Probably a better rating for the shield would probably be about 35, maybe 40% better.
I'm thinking at least 30% would make it more viable. and possibly knocking the extra power draw down to about maybe 40% rather than 50%, because I do think that is a little bit extreme. Although I could live with the 50% extra power draw if it actually gave me a better overall boost than just a normal shield with one A0 shield booster on there. I do feel that this is kind of cheap at the moment. And
because I've got the A4 with 8 A0 shield boosters on.
Yeah, and your shields are pretty much are stronger than the ones I've got at the moment. So yes. So I could wail on you, and you would be losing a lot less shields than I would, with only one shield booster in the normal A0 standard shields. But like I said, I do think that we need to have a little better of a benefit. I do feel like they've lumped on way too many negatives and not enough positives. I don't think it's quite been balanced enough yet. But as we said, this is the start of... This is like brand new. It's only just recently become available to the general public. There's not been much testing done in it, so I imagine things will change.
Well, I read something that they said that, yeah, they didn't do enough testing, and that if once they all are available to everybody, once they see how they're being used, they're going to nerf them or buff them depending on how everyone's using it.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if they kept it as just the 20% extra boost to the shield power if we didn't have the extreme negatives. If they knocked the negatives down a little bit, like maybe made them 50% heavier and 30% more power draw, or 25% more power draw, or something, or even 40% more power draw, that I could live with. But at the moment, I think there are too many negatives for the very few positives to this shield. So I think what I am going to be doing is not bothering with the Prismatic for the moment, on the Anaconda at least. I may end up getting the Prismatics on a dedicated combat ship that can actually make use of them.
Agreed. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what ship I would be using, but I do think that this is a wasted opportunity at the moment. So for the time being, what I think I will do is I won't actually defect from Aisling Duval yet. Sorry, I keep hitting my microphone stand because I'm kind of talking with my hands.
You do the same thing I do.
No, what I'm thinking of doing is I will stay with her for the moment for another week or two and see if they do actually patch them, and then I will come back and review them again if they do. If they don't within a couple of weeks, then I am just going to leave and look for the next module to review. But at the moment, as I said, I do think I speak for both of us to say that these shields are slightly underwhelming for what they are.
I agree. Although I do like the green color change, though. That's just kind of neat.
It is interesting.
I was not expecting that. Just to give you guys a little insight on what happened before, he came up with his shields and he hit his shield cell bank, and I'm like, what? He's like, what? I'm like, it's green. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the shields are green.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by this as well, because we were just sitting around mucking about doing some pre-testing just to prepare for this video. And then the sheer surprise that came from Commander Dark Widow was absolutely palpable.
Yeah, I was not expecting green. I thought it was going to be blue.
Aye, no, I wasn't expecting the green either, but like I said, I do find that a little bit of a weird kind of visual design choice.
Hey, they could have made it pink for all the hell we knew.
Yeah, even pink would have been at least a little bit more visually appealing to me than green. But I do think the colour isn't the best. But then again, I'm a stickler for colours. Really, that's just me nitpicking now.
But I do like that weird graphic that we saw, like that different pattern that it's got, like that wavy pattern on it instead of like the regular shields that don't have that.
Yeah, that is a little better as well. But I think that's what they originally had it with, it was a wavy pattern instead of a straight pattern.
Well, someone, well, in the comment section down below, someone can correct us if we are wrong on that. Because I'm not sure. I haven't really seen the default shields get normally damaged like that. Because you were like literally smacking me with your ship because I was sitting underneath you. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna come underneath and see. Let's see if it still does the same pattern.
Okay.
I got full in shields now. I got the proximity alert. I just wait for it to make noises. Okay, I'm sitting right underneath you again. Smack me. Oh, no, it is a bit different. Yeah, it is more. It's a lot more wavy. There's still a little bit of a wavy pattern, but with the prismatic shields, I think it's more noticeable. Not 100% sure on that, though.
It might just be more noticeable because it's got a green background colour, and it's just more of a contrast between the two colours. It might just be why we're noticing it. But I do think that if this is going to be the final form of the prismatic shields, then I do find it somewhat underwhelming. And I really think that Frontier cheaped out on the graphics for it. I would really have preferred the prismatic shielding from what I was hoping it was going to be, with the hexagonal interlocked shield design kind of thing. That's what I was hoping for, and I would have really loved it. And regardless of any of the other technical issues with the stats of the module, I wouldn't have cared, just because I would have loved the look of it so much. But now I am completely underwhelmed in every single aspect of these shields. I do think that the power draw is way too much for the benefit that we get, and I do think the weight is way too much, because my jump range went down from... let's see what my jump range is now. I need to go to... There we go, functions, here we go. I now have a 23.89 light year jump range set up as I am. When I have the full prismatic shields, I have about 21 light year jump range. So I lose about 2.5 light years of jump range just for upgrading to prismatic shields. And again, I don't think that's another downside. It's lower jump ranges, more power draw, so it's less weapons I can use, lower jump range, and only for a little bit more of a booster shield, and I don't think it's worth it. I mean, I know I do feel like I'm sounding rather negative on this, but I was expecting a lot more. I was hoping for more. But in my eyes, I can't really, in good conscience, actually recommend these shields for the average player. If you are going pure combat, and you don't have the utility mounts for shield boosters, then yes, go for it. This will be the best thing you can do. But bear in mind that you are going to be losing an extra 50% on top of your shields in power draw.
Yes, and the other thing too is, like I was stating for like a trader or whatnot, you do lose jump range for maybe an extra 5-6 seconds, maybe 10 seconds of getaway time, but that's about it.
Well, that's if you're using the lowest shield rating. Basically, if you're doing a trade vessel one you're doing, and still in your Anaconda, you've got an A4 prismatic shield. You lost like about one light year to put a point something of a light year.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you've basically got a good boost to your shields because of it, just because you've got your 8 shield boosters on top as well. So it's increased your overall shield performance by about 20 to 40% really, after all the boosts. So that is worth it. So trading, if you're using the lowest one, yes, you lose a little bit of jump range, but you do gain more survivability. So that may be good for like Type 9 pilots, Type 7 pilots, even Type 6 pilots. So you do get more survivability, so that's why I think that the best utilization of these shields is at the moment. So I do agree with you there, Widow.
Yeah, it's for the trade aspect, it's good. For any other really aspect, it's not really worth it. Like if you're making a dedicated combat one to stay in system, yeah, go for it. But if you're going to do one, like you said, for like long distance jumping, bounty hunting, pirating, stuff like that, it's not worth it.
No, you lose more than you gain, and I just can't, in good conscience, recommend it. If you do like what you've seen and you do think that it's worth it yourself, then great, go for it. I can only tell you what my point of view is, as can Widow.
Yes, exactly. Like, to me, I like them, but then again, it's prismatic shielding, and I, like, literally, I got mine on Friday and put it on, and the only downer is we don't get to see the visual effects ourselves. It's only the other player gets to see it. That's one thing that's my little bug about it. Other than that, I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. I thought like, when I equipped mine, I was like, so my shields went down a ring and a half, and I'm looking kind of going, that's adding another shield booster on. That's all I thought. I'm like, I added another shield booster because that's roughly what my shield boosters take off. So I was just like, all right, whatever. I'm like, so if it was just that, it's just that. I'm like, okay, so now I have 20% extra shields. It's with the with the shield boosters and everything on, it's gonna be one of those ones where we'll see how it actually is when other people start using it.
I have a feeling they're going to find more of a use with the mid-sized ships.
I agree, not with the large ones. It's just it's not applicable for it. I can see it being used with an FDL though.
Yeah, I can imagine Fer-de-Lances, possibly Pythons, Federal dropships definitely, Clippers. I can imagine all these type of ships going combat. Will definitely make some use of them. But then again, with the Fer-de-Lance at least and the Clipper, the jump ranges aren't amazing on those by themselves, and especially not with the Federal dropship. They've all got fairly bad jump ranges, but because they've already got bad jump ranges, I don't think people are going to care that they're going to get worse, because they're not designed as long-range attack vessels. They are in-system fighters.
They're like the defense. That's literally what they are.
So I do find that's like almost in-character system defense forces will make more use of them than actual long-range bounty hunters, so to speak. But yes, I think we've been waffling on this enough for one video.
I agree.
So, if you have liked what you've seen, please do hit that like button. It really does help this channel out. Not only that, but if you haven't already, please do hit that big subscribe button to join the Wolfpack. You will get updates from whenever I release new videos. And below that, you will see links to all the channels that I am associated with. So please do go check out their content. Dark Widow here is among them. And everybody there works just as hard as I do on their videos. So until next time, Commanders, keep flying and stay shiny.